Gene Borrello used to run some of those big money poker games when he was an enforcer for the Bonanno family. He once even shared a defense table with one of the guys they hauled in yesterday. Back then, they were both charged as teenagers. Gene, good to have you back on the show. When I found out that you knew some of the names, I had to get you back on the program. So who was arrested that you know? What do you know about them?
I grew up with Fat Nick Minucci. I know Angelo Ruggiero very well. He's actually the tough one on the indictment. I know Joe Lonnie. Me and him didn't get along. Ernie Aiello was a part of my old family. I know a lot of them, and I looked at the indictment, and it's typical for the government to make a big spectacle out of it. I mean, it's not a usual organized crime case where mostly on this indictment you're just seeing gambling. You know, uh, it's not really an organized crime case, but I guess that's what they'll say it is. Fixing sports betting been going on for 50 years. For rigging card games just like casinos do. We're no different than casinos. They rig it too. So I mean, it's not like we're doing anything different than them. But I look at this indictment and it's very exaggerated, as usual as they do. And they run with names and they try to make it bigger than what it is. That's the truth.
So when I talked to you earlier about Fat Nick, I love the names, by the way. I mean, it just sounds like it's right out of the movies, but things seem to have changed with the millennial mobsters. You said Fat Nick, you can't even understand why he's been grabbed because he's not even an active member anymore. He's no good. What does that mean?
He was labeled no good on his last case. He was my co-defendant back in the day on the 9/11. September 11th, we all were locked up for what happened on the World Trade Center. And he stood up there. Then he was locked up again in 2005. Me and him were selling fireworks together. 2 days before 4th of July, he was locked up for a serious hate crime in Howard Beach. And he told on his co-defendant, Anthony Ench. He's not even supposed to be around. So I don't know how he's even on an organized crime case.
So let me ask you this. When I was reading through the indictment, I was waiting to hear, the thing that you see in the movies, which is, listen here, I'm going to take you out at the knees if you don't pay us. And then they take you out at the knees, right?
Right.
But the only thing I got to was like some guy got punched in the face. Have things really changed when it comes to how the mob, enforces and gets their money back?
Right. So, like a guy like me, a guy like Dominic Cicali, a lot of guys that were on these news channels were doing the real violence. So when we see these indictments, we laugh at them because it's almost like it's not a real mob case. There's no violence. It's just a threat of it, and nothing's even happening. You know what I mean? So the old mob cases is murder, torture, kidnapping, armed robbery, arson, assaults, everything that I was convicted of, and a lot of other guys that were part of real indictments. We look at these as almost clown shows. It's just like a gambling, some fixed sports, and they're like the notorious Bonanno family. There's nothing notorious about them no more. I mean, they don't even commit violence. I mean, but to me, like I said, nobody will get more than 50 months on this case. Nobody.
Yeah, I mean, we're used to, it's interesting you say that because we're used to hearing about, organized crime violence, like, people who are getting their heads cut off with cartels and awful tortures and all the rest. But I feel like we haven't had stories like that for a very long time with the mob. Is that just because I don't know about them?
No, it's watered down completely. And that's why when the government gets a hold of a case, we're very, how can I say it? They exaggerate our cases because we're so popular in New York. And we'll go on the front page for something that isn't even that serious. I remember they put my probation violation in the third page next to Donald Trump. It was for like nonsense. And I was this big in the newspaper. That's just what they do with organized crime cases. And they run with names like Angelo Ruggiero, who I know since I'm a kid. He's legit tough. But at the end of the day, it's more about who his father was. He's Quack Quack's son. That's John Gotti's right-hand man. So they'll make a big deal about it because he's Quack Quack's son. That's it, really. There's no more killings and bodies being buried and real mafia stuff. It's all watered down. It's like a college fraternity just doing some sports, honestly.
So I got like 10 seconds left, but I got to ask you, it's almost a yes or no here, but you think this is going to make a dent in the illegal poker gaming business with the high-end stakes in New York City?
They're starting a new one right now as we speak. No. No.
Thank you for watching. Subscribe below and download our NewsNation app right now on your phone, and you will get fact-based, unbiased news for all Americans.